Now, my name's John Wright. I'm getting back to the very essence of this conversation this morning. I've been robbed for my bowling alley and stuff, and look, I got a little bowling center right here in my little motorhome that's 37 foot long here at Delphi and Alpine. And the point of this is my dad's bowling alley was is called Alpine Bowl in Morton, Washington, next to the cemetery, next to the mortuary, and that money that created that business was stolen from the hijackers' money from 1971. On November 24th, 1971, they pulled off that hijacker's job, and I was held in Morton, Washington with my brother-in-law, Rich Baker. And you know what? A lot of us were being forced to comply of doing something, and they named that bowling alley Millhouse Smokehouse after the President of the United States. Was Richard M. Nixon. That was what? He got caught in Watergate. Watergate stems back to JFK assassination. Richard Nixon got the hell out of town when he knew a good deal. And I'll tell you what, that their bowling alley down there financed terrorism in the Middle East, and it started with the first 50 Americans that was murdered in the Beirut bombing after that bowling alley was built. I think that the first one, it was about 1975, 76 in there. And you know what? They blew that thing up over there to kill those people, to tell those people in Lewis County and stuff, shut the fuck up, because I remember back then, and I remember the things that people were slipping around and telling me. And I already had a person murdered on my bed, and I knew better to open up my mouth and say something. But now, all these years has passed after seeing Bruce Kimsey and all this orchestrated action in Lewis County, right down to A&E, where Mr. Kimsey is shown on top of a roof in Lewis County on top of the sheriff's office, and he's personally challenging me, is what he is doing and what he has done. And I'll tell you another thing, these people that he used for witnesses, such as this guy that came from Vancouver, Washington, you know, that's my storyline that they stole, they put in there for that very thing. And this here guy, he's there saying, you know, he's telling his little story, you know, like he's being forced to do it, and he goes, and I've got a gun. And you know what? That guy just saying that, it goes down to me as they're using a gun and stuff, and they're using stuff, and they're threatening people with that very words that they're saying. And the way that I look at that guy that's saying that, about that, I got a gun, you better have a gun, because if you piss off somebody like me and I catch you, if I even catch you, I'm going to rattle you around, and I'm going to throttle you about making false accusations and statements to support a bunch of criminals. And Bill Reisinger, I rented from Bill and Mary Reisinger, and their brother-in-law, Mary's brother, is Jeremy Randolph, and they had a tight situation, and I couldn't even rent a house unless it was connected to my illustrious prosecuting attorney that prosecuted my brother over the Terry Shortridge murder case. And Terry Shortridge's middle name is Lance, and John F. Kennedy's code name for his, you know, for the president, is Lancer. So they actually orchestrated this whole thing using, you know, ABC bullshit. And I'll tell you another thing what this stems about is I've just been watching Elvis Presley and the 1956 music that he plays when he first comes into the thing. The first song he plays is Mama Something, and the second one he's playing, they're forcing him to do stuff, he sees through it and stuff. And these people, Rudy Tooty, okay, Elvis Presley starts singing Rudy Tooty, you know, like that. These people that are of this age, that's up there, you know, like Joe Biden and all these, not Joe necessarily, but Joe lives in a group of people that have fallen through a net and they're following signs and stuff, such as Elvis Presley he was something to grab on to as a child, and so was uh, the black Baptist preacher, you know, who I'm talking about, Martin Luther King, and him and Elvis Presley was coming out like this here, and Elvis was adopting all these different songs and stuff, and what they did was, now all these here people and this here mindset and stuff like this, they become prisoners of war in their own mind. So like Rudy Giuliani and Mr. Trump and all these other people like this, they may actually be suffering from actually going back and being replayed over and over in their mind, and they should seek counseling and stuff, because once they see what they've been doing wrong, they'll accept it, because they'll know that the truth has been right there, and they've been affected, and it's really sorrowsome that such a thing has gone on without treatment. And now I'm aware that, you could take these Elvis Presley songs and you could look at them and research them. And I'm telling you, Elvis Presley is trying to tell the mass hysteria people what's going on. And he's trying to show you these things. And this has been orchestrated, what Mr. Presley has done. And this Tom Parker, whatever. Hey, my stepdad was Malin Park Kent. And they're using these here signs and stuff. And I'm telling you, in essence, if you look at this Elvis Presley and this here stuff, and you start looking at the stuff that's going around, you might start seeing something that these here people got attached to in their minds, and they're replaying it in their heads too. And I'll tell you what, this is 7 minutes. It's only going to go about 8 minutes. But I wanted to point this out. The 1956 Elvis Presley music has affected these people, and the people that are about 8 or 10 at this here time in 1956, that means that they must have been born in 1946, and maybe 1941 through 1947, in that time bracket. You got a 3-year difference, like this, moving back and forth like a fish's tail, and it makes a vicious tail. It makes a vicious tail in the future that's liable to come up just like it has right now. And America, you need to get a grip on it. Post-traumatic stress disorder is what we're dealing with, and we've done this in 8 minutes.